I want to talk about something I think we all intuitively know but don't want to admit. The middle class is broke. The way we think of what is a middle class income, a high income, and a low income, the numbers are all warped. They don't actually make sense with how much things cost now. For example, the poverty line is set at about $20,000 for a single individual in Canada. What can you buy with $20,000? Nothing. A lot of people think that a middle class income of, say, $60,000 would be good. But even on $60,000, you would really struggle to rent a one-bedroom apartment, own a car, and buy food in any major Canadian cities. Does that seem like a middle class life to you if you're struggling to have the very basics? We also tend to think of a high income as $100,000 a year, which is a great income for a single childless person. As soon as you add a family into the mix, that money goes away really fast. Because things like housing and education and childcare have increased so much in cost over the past decades, that money just doesn't go as far as it used to, but we haven't changed how we think about incomes and wages. As a result, most people are willing to settle for way less than they deserve, and they spend their time getting mad at people who are making more than them rather than thinking like, hey, we're all kind of screwed in this scenario. This is a really important statement I made on Twitter last year that says the poverty line is set arbitrarily low by governments and economists to gaslight people who are struggling to survive into believing they do not deserve social safety nets because they do not need them. When politicians are trying to tell you to reduce contributions to things like CPP and EI, this is what they're doing. You are the working poor and you need these social supports. When they're trying to stigmatize and shame you for living in poverty, this is what they're doing. This is what's happening. Given how much inflation has decimated our dollar over recent years, I actually think a more appropriate poverty line would be $60,000 for an individual and $100,000 for a family. The problem is, because of the shame and stigma around poverty, a lot of people don't want to accept those thresholds because then we'd have to admit that most of the Canadian middle class is living in poverty. But the sad news is, they are.